Today we have with us co-founder Mike Marasco and also Luke Weinzettel, an account manager with No Wait Inside. You have the chat and Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to use it throughout the presentation. We'll have about a 30 to 40 minute presentation, and then we'll have some time for question and answers as well. If any of your questions or questions are not answered during the presentation, you can always feel free to reach out to myself at the Counties Association, or again to Mike or Luke at No Wait Inside. So to get things started, we'll turn this over to Mike.
Oh, well, thank you, Michael. We are super excited to be able to spend a few minutes with you this morning, helping you understand what our company is all about. First of all, I wanted to make sure to thank Michael, Michelle, and Anne-Marie, the folks at WCA, who've been so kind to give us this opportunity. No Wait Inside is a company based in Minnesota. It was founded by myself and my partner, Jeff Gottstein, and we service counties, cities, towns, and states all throughout the United States, but with a major concentration here in the Midwest, specifically Minnesota, Iowa, are two of our largest counties, although we have counties as large as San Diego and Sacramento on the West Coast and Westchester on the East Coast. So we have a pretty broad mix. What I was going to do today is just give you an overview of what our product is and how we have sort of, we think we have sort of rethought the way citizens can be serviced. And to help understand us a little bit, I was just going to walk you through some slides. These will take no more than 15 or 20 minutes. And then Luke, one of our associates, will walk you through a demo of the application. So if we started as a company less than a year ago, actually, with COVID, because Jeff and I realized that the way face-to-face servicing had to occur during COVID was going to be different. And fundamentally, we believe that face-to-face servicing needed to be improved, whether it was a doctor's office or a government office or anything else. As you all know, we're in sort of a new world as relates to this. Most of us in our lifetime did not experience a pandemic, and we were being told is that this is not the only one we're going to experience. So masks, social distancing are all things that we have to be cognizant of. Traditional queuing theory really has been disrupted, and waiting areas and lines are now a source of high anxiety, and throughput and efficiency certainly have been impacted. These issues don't just relate to your citizens, but also relate to your staff. Staff now work behind plexiglass in many environments, and they're concerned about the fact that they're in environments where people that are not in their normal world are coming to see them every day, and they don't, you can ask all the COVID screening questions or anything else you want, but infection risk is still an issue. One of the things we've learned is the staff and our clients are our strongest advocates, because they firmly believe that the way we've helped them service their citizens now is much more efficient than the way we were doing before COVID, and they don't ever want to go back. So what did we develop? We basically said, how can we use technology in a simple way to help governments serve their citizens better? So we had a few simple rules. The application had to be completely web-based, had to be completely in the cloud, and there wasn't going to be an app that anyone had to download. That we had to do all this through phone, text, and email. So we said, let's try to think about how we can do just-in-time servicing, and do all this in a simple way. And that's what we're going to show you today. The original product was No Wait Inside. We now have a Wait Inside product, which includes kiosk and display, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And we built this all in such a way that it's modular and very inexpensive, and we'll talk about that as well. So what is the product today? It's really scheduling, whether it's self-service scheduling by your citizens, where they just go to a website and book an appointment, or go to a kiosk, or pull up a check-in on their phone if they've come to your facility. That's one key component of what we do. The second part is customer communications or citizen communications across email, text, as well as phone calls. And thirdly, we also provide a database and a dashboard for you to customize all this, and then for you to serve your citizens in a way that makes sense. So we're going to show you all this very quickly. So what is our technology? Well, it's fairly common. We sit on Amazon Web Services, the single largest cloud service provider out there. We are fully HIPAA compliant. We originally started servicing a lot of DMV type facilities, initially in Minnesota, and then expanded beyond that. But if you look at our use in Iowa today, it's heavily being used for vaccination, for COVID vaccination testing, as well as vaccination administration. So we have a lot of health departments who use us. That's why we're HIPAA compliant. And security is a very important dimension to our business. And my partner Jeff is a CISSP, which is the highest certification for security and information technology. We offer you complete flexibility in terms of how you can set up our system. So you can do scheduling. We have first in, first out, or take a number, or you can do scheduling via time slots. And you can break that down by department, by location, by pools like Real ID or license renewal. And all this can be customized at multiple levels. And we'll show you that here in a second in the demo. What we're seeing today is a lot of our customers are going to what we call a hybrid solution. So, and we believe COVID-19 really opened the door to better citizen servicing. And whether you believe it or not, government has figured this out better than healthcare. Healthcare really just sort of said, well, let's do telehealth, or let's just limit the volume of people we can have coming in. And that's creating problems now because they have such a major backlog. Government said we still have to service our customers, but we can't just open our doors, and we don't want to have lines. So what we've seen is a lot of our customers are going back to walk-in, but they're combining it with appointment-based servicing. So especially for those citizens who are seniors or with special needs, they want to continue to offer that dimension. And a number that have done that have seen that their walk-in numbers have gone down dramatically because people who came in as walk-in kept asking, why is that person getting in front of me? And they're being told, well, they booked an appointment because and they're saying, well, how do I book an appointment? Well, then just go to our website and you can do that. So citizens want a choice, and you can offer a choice without significant disruption to the way you currently service your citizens and without significant cost. And that's what we're going to show you today. So I just pulled up Walworth County because I live in Illinois, but just south of Walworth County. I spend a lot of time in Walworth County, so I picked it up. I'm not sure if we have anyone from Walworth County here, but this is Walworth County's current website. And as you can see, there's a button here on the right that is a virtual waiting service. And that when you click on that, it comes to a window like this that can be completely customized so that your citizen can book an appointment. Once they've booked that appointment, they receive a text, a phone call, or an email with the information about that appointment and with a link that says, when you arrived, click here. So when they drive or walk to your facility, they check in off of that text or email link. You get a message on our dashboard that says a citizen's here ready to be serviced, and then you call them in when they're ready to be serviced. This is how virtual waiting room works. We also have the ability to do walk-ins, so someone could just someone can also come to your facility and still enter their information into the system, and then you can call them in when you have availability. So we give you all that flexibility. This is an example of what the text would look like. This is an example of when they click the link, what they would see as a web page. So it's very simple, very intuitive. We also have implemented digital signage, as you see here on the right, as well as kiosk, which you see here, kiosk on the right, digital signage on the left. We do all of this with off-the-shelf technologies. So this display is a flat panel TV you could buy at Best Buy or Amazon. This kiosk is an Apple iPad here with a Epson thermal printer here to print out numbers, and it's on an inexpensive stand that can be even bolted into the ground. So what I wanted to do is show you how this works in some with some live counties. So I'm going to give you, we're going to go through 3 really quick ones. And the first one is going to be Marion County, Iowa. So Marion County actually is one of our earliest clients, and you can see from their website, they have, let me just go back. So right on their website, they basically have book an appointment. When you click on that, that goes to this page, which they've customized. And then they have multiple locations or offices that use us. And, so you see auditor for real estate, COVID. And then when you pick up one of those, then the specific service type comes up. If you have more than one service type, that'll be a drop down here. You put in your information. And you see the first available appointment, which actually is today. And then you just pick a time slot. Then today, the only available appointment is 2:30. And then you answer some screening questions. These are questions that are custom that Marion County has designed, and you'd be able to design. It's a module we've added. It started, originally was used just for COVID screening questions, but it can be used for a lot of other things. But this is just one example. Another example is Scott County. This is Scott County, Minnesota, which is just a suburb of the Twin Cities. They have a customer service center. And as you can see here, they do lots of different things with driver's license and marriage licenses and things like that. And you just click here for online scheduling and you can book an appointment. I wanted to give you one example of a Wisconsin client, and that would be not a county, but a city. But I'm just going to quickly show you this. This is City of Madison, who uses us today. They use us in their building and zoning department. This is a bunch of information that they provide around booking an appointment. And then you click here. And this is, again, no wait inside, where you can book an appointment for plan review or anything else along those lines. So we have a number of use cases in terms of how we are used. And I just walked you through a couple examples from with Marion, Scott, and Madison. There are many others. We have close to 100 clients. I wanted to quickly walk you through pricing and with an additional slide on sort of what we've seen on an ROI perspective. And then I'm going to hand it over to Luke to actually walk you through a demo. As we promised, we're trying to move this quickly because we know you're very busy. So the core system is $49 a month. We price this very inexpensively because we want it to be appealing to small and large government entities. Every message the system sends is 5 cents. So on average, an appointment is about 15 cents. If you want to do the screening questions, that's an additional $99 a month because it has a bunch of document management and document storage capabilities built into it. Kiosks are also very inexpensive at $75 per month. A display is $99 a month, and that includes announcements. We have month-to-month pricing, and we provide a discount off of these prices for annual contracts or message pre-buys. So, but that's the entire package. Anyone else you talk to in this space, you're looking at a cost that is many, many, many times higher than this. And part of our commitment to it was that we didn't want to approach our business serving government entities like most people in the space, most of our competitors do, which is it's long-term contracts. There's a lot of expense up front and a lot of expense on a monthly basis. We said, let's do month to month. And if people don't like us, they can just get rid of us. There is no commitment, but it also makes it much easier for you to try us versus having to engage in a long-term contract. Just as an FYI, of our clients today, only 2 of them are via RFP. All of them were sole sourced just based on the compelling nature of our pricing. So what happens when you implement No Wait Inside? It facilitates orderly return to servicing, definitely creates less anxiety on all behalf, citizen as well as your staff, higher customer/citizen satisfaction, and lower infection risk. Because one of the things I didn't mention, but when you use a system like this, you also have a contract tracing database. So in case there was any type of infection between a citizen or your staff, you have a database of everyone who's come in to see you. So it's very easy to do contact tracing. Now we're going to shift over to the demo. If you're interested in seeing the screen, you can seeing a sign up screen. You can absolutely sign up for an appointment by just scanning this QR code with your camera on your phone, and it'll take you to our website, and you can experience this directly. But Luke is going to walk you through a mock appointment right now and show you the system in its entirety. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them now, or to raise your hand or to put them in chat. But otherwise, we're going to continue. I do see one question, so which relates to statistics. And so let me ask that and then and answer it, or at least attempt to answer it. So do you have any statistics? The question is, do you have any statistics on how much the effectiveness and or usage drops if the municipality has buildings open versus entities that are by appointment only? We actually do. And, a lot of it's centered around Minnesota because we have over half the counties in Minnesota use us today. So first of all, what we saw in Minnesota, and I'm thinking you're probably seeing some of this in Wisconsin too, is the rural community counties saw a major uptick in usage because the people, I know this dimension exists in Wisconsin because I live very close to Wisconsin, I have lots of friends in Wisconsin, but as you know, in Minnesota, most people have a lake house or a weekend place. So if they needed a license renewal or anything else, they didn't go to their local facility in, say, St. Paul or in Minneapolis. They would go out, they would go visit. Their logic was, let's go visit, when we're out at the house, when we're out at our lake house, we'll go take care of it out there. So what we saw was a major uptick in servicing occurring in relatively smaller counties, and somewhat of a decrease in larger counties. Right now, the numbers are hard to ascertain because there's such a backlog, especially in the DMV space, because Real ID is a requirement, but its deadlines were extended out. Our clients who are running hybrid, meaning they still allow for walk-in and they have appointments, say that with their, initially they had an uptick, they had a significant uptick in walk-ins, but once the walk-ins realized that the by appointment people were prioritized because they booked an appointment, which they understood, a lot of people said, well, I'm booking an appointment, I'm not going to wait in a line. Because one of the beauties of our system is you're not rolling the dice anymore about what's the line going to be like or how long it's going to take when I get to the facility. Because when you book the appointment, we let you see how many people are ahead of you. So you'd know whether you want to book that appointment or not, or wait to another day and time. Or if you book a time slot appointment, you'll know exactly that you're scheduled to come in at that exact time. So it increases certainty. There's one other question I'll get to, which is, does the app monitor no-shows or missed appointments? Yes, and Luke will show you that here in a minute. So I'm going to stop my share and allow Luke to begin. Luke will now start to the demo so that you can actually see how our product works.
Absolutely. Again, thank you guys for giving this opportunity and attending this morning, bright and early. So just give you a base overview of, the start to finish functionality of the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into our test location. So because Mike already mentioned, we're a Minnesota-based company and our headquarters is in Plymouth, Minnesota. So we've got our test location set up for that. So we can see here, we've got the location set, and we can manage, any number of service types through here. And what I'm going to do is just walk through, most of our clients are, have DMVs integrated. So we've got this set up for the most amount of functionality and messages to go out. So this is just the service that I tend to use for demonstrations. Now, what I'll do is once we've selected a service, we actually have the option of allowing you to have a drop down for this. And we're seeing, certain service types take more time, especially if you're going to run like license plate tags. You're going to want to know from your citizen how many tags are coming in for, and you can actually configure the system to schedule a longer appointment for those folks that select, 1, 2, 3 amount of services when they come in. And this could be, property assessment protests, which we've got just as a setup in here. And these are all configured for a different range of times. Now, I won't get too into the weeds on that because I know we're kind of on a crunch. So what I'm going to do, I've got, this is configured where we've got name, last name, and phone number required. You can tell the system that you want an email address to be required for an appointment. Now, we do understand, some constituents, they're not even on email. So that we don't have this configured for a requirement. Now, when your citizen actually goes to sign up for this appointment, it's going to immediately show the first available date and time slot for that service. Now, and this is hiding a number of time slots in the background. We actually have this configured where this driver's road test, we've got 5 columns of 10:30 appointments, 10:45 appointments across the board. Now, I prefer seeing it this way because it's not a huge screen of a ton of different side-by-side appointments. It really keeps it clean for your citizens when they sign up for these. Now, we also, as I mentioned, we understand that some constituencies don't have access either to mobile phones or to email. So we have a slider here that you can select so your citizen can indicate that they don't have a mobile phone available. And then this will give a message to your office staff that they're going to have to go out and find this person in their lobby or wherever they would be. This is a configurable slot, so you can type in, we'll be outside by the flagpole, we'll be, in the main office, whatever you'd want to have in here. Now, Mike did mention our screening question additional module. This is being heavily used for COVID vaccination or for COVID-related questions, because if someone's been diagnosed with COVID within the last 14 days, we don't want to see them. So we have this question kind of across the board. And if your citizen hits yes on this, we actually have the ability of providing a customized error message. And this is actually a link to the CDC guidelines for COVID. So you can provide additional information to your citizens while they're incorrectly signing up for appointments. Now I'll switch this over to no. These can be configured if you wanted to have a document download linked in that error message. If your question was, have you brought your DD-214 or whatever with you? And they say no, you could have that error message include a link to your website where they can download that. Compounding on that, we also can allow media upload. So if you wanted to have that document uploaded for your citizen when they're creating their appointment, your staff would actually be able to just open up that document when they're looking in the appointment when that citizen gets there. So we can do yes or no, short answer, as well as document upload. And we've got a handful other that this is not configured for. But in a typical demonstration, I would ask one of the attendees for their phone number to run them through this. But for the sake of the demo, we're going to have Mike be the citizen. Now, when the citizen hits save on this page, their phone is going to ring, and I'm going to ask Mike to answer his phone on speakers so that everyone can clearly hear what's being said.
It's ringing.
Okay.
Hello?
This is a reminder for your 10:45 a.m. appointment. After this call, you will receive a text message with a link to click when you arrive at our facility. Once you arrive, please click the link and stay in your car or wait outside until we are ready for you. Once we are ready, we will provide you further instructions. Thanks.
So that message that goes out is another customizable text to voice field that we use. And we actually, we use a pretty robust transfer system because we know that a lot of those voice messages are super robotic, and we wanted to provide a more professional sound to our system. So pulled you over to our dashboard here again, and we can take a look. This is where your front-end users are going to spend a majority of their time. And we can look in the driver's road test, because this is the appointment that we just signed up for. And we can see that appointment that we just made for Mike right in this pool. We kind of use the term pool and service type interchangeably throughout our system. Now, Mike, also, this is configured to also send out 2 text messages. The first of which is a confirmation text, which Mike actually just hit yes on. If you saw that this tab switched from no check mark to a green check mark, that feature is being used heavily to ensure that we're not missing out on appointments, or we're not going to have no call, no show appointments. We've got that configured to send out that confirmation the day beforehand, because we allow appointments, however far in advance you'd like them to go. So we want to send a reminder the day before that service actually comes up to, remind the citizen, hey, you signed up for something, please show up, because, now the second text message in that Mike received is the arrival link. And what I'll have Mike do is go through there, and we've actually got a second series of screening questions baked into that arrival link, so that you can, again, ask your citizenry some kind of more focused questions based on the service type that they've selected. Now, as soon as Mike hits save on that, we're actually going to get an update in the system that we've got someone who's arrived for service. And it'll tell us on the individual pool as well as the system. And there is just a short delay on that. All right, so we can see we've got the little bell going off here. We do have a function for turning off that sound, because we know that sometimes your offices have like 5 side-by-side computers, and you don't need all of them making music when you're receiving citizens. So our system is also configured. We will send an acknowledgement message back to Mike, and this is just going to have a short text that says, hey, Mike, we know you're here. Hang out in your car. We'll send another message when we're ready for you to come in. Now, oh, yeah, unfortunately, phone screens do not pick up well on camera. Otherwise, we could show you those messages. But what I will do, this little additional button here, the More button, we can actually go in to edit this appointment. So if you had someone call in and they needed to change when their appointment was, or they needed to cancel it, we can actually change that through here, and we can look at all of the information that they input when they created their appointment. We can see the answers to their screening questions, any additional notes that you'd want to put on here. Like if you know that someone has an accessibility issue, you could put that note on this page so that your other staff members could see that when they're seeing this appointment. We can look at the audit log to see the different statuses that are saved in the system. And this is all exportable to PDF and Excel. So if you want to run data analysis on your appointment times, this is where the bulk of that is saved, but the actual pulling reports is down on the left-hand tab here. This message tab, this is where we can see a history of all of the messaging that has gone out between the system and the citizen. And this is also exportable in a different area as well. Now we can see here. Now, Mike, would you mind sending me a text message? We allow two-way communication, which is also a feature you can turn off if you don't want your citizens to be able to send you a message. But we can see when that message comes in, we'll get a notification in the system for that as well. All right, so we can see up at the top, we've got a message in the organization, and then we can also see what that message looks like. And your front-end staff will actually have the ability to send custom messages right back and forward to that person while they're waiting. Now, a lot of our clients are offering window service. So they've got 4 or 5 desks where they can pull citizens into. This is configured up to 9, but we can do ABC 1, 2, 3 short text answer. So you can have like go to the Washington window or Jefferson window if you want to go by president names. So when your staff hits the window that they want their citizen to come up to, and they actually call that person into the office, Mike is going to also receive another phone call with a custom text to voice message that tells him specifically to come up to that window that we want him at. And he's going to answer that soon.
Hello?
We're ready for you inside. Please come inside the building, go down the stairs, and come to window 3. Thanks.
Yeah. So again, another custom text to voice feature, and you can put in, if your building kind of has a funky layout and you need to provide certain instructions to them while they're walking through, you can put that in that field or in the messages that go out. And then when Mike actually comes up to the window, we'll hit serving now, and we can also close this appointment out when he leaves for service. All of this is saving timestamps in the system that you can pull data analysis from on later. What I'm going to show you next, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and I can stop at any point and kind of get into that more specific. But what I'm going to do now is hop into some of our mass functionality. So this message button here allows you to look at all the messages that have gone out through this pool. And we can also look at this double message. This gives you the ability of selecting a range of citizens that you want to send a phone, text, or email, or all three to. So if your whole pool service is running 10 to 15 minutes behind, you could go through here and select a range and send out a custom message to those folks and tell them, hey, really sorry, we had an incident, we're running a bit behind, we'll get to you when we can. Now, to show you how the actual time block or appointment schedule function goes, we've got this yellow clock, and this is going to pull us into another tab, and it's going to show us a side-by-side of the services and appointments that we've got for that day. So as of right now, this pool and driver's road test is configured to allow 2 side-by-side appointments within one 15-minute block. So basically, we've got this office has 2 employees that can manage 2 citizens at once. So if you wanted to, what you can do is you can also select a range here and go through and pick a range of times. Maybe it's not, I might have double clicked the button. And we can block these slots, we can unblock, we can cancel and send a message. Again, this would be another way that you could send like cancellations out to your citizens. In fact, when the Johnson & Johnson issue occurred, a number of our clients that are using us for vaccinations had to go through and manually cancel appointments like this because they were no longer able to, do those vaccines. Now let me pull you back into the dashboard here. I'm going to open this up again, and so this little cancel calendar button will also allow you to individually select all, or select a range of folks that you'd want to cancel. This button actually allows you to automatically reschedule citizens for 21, 28, or a custom range of dates out in the future. Majority of our double dose vaccine clients are using this as an automatic second dose scheduler. So when their citizens go online and they're signing up for the first dose, they've got a message on there that says, hey, as a reminder, when you're signing up for this appointment, you're also signing up for the exact same time slot and location 3 weeks, 4 weeks in advance. So make sure to mark both on your calendar. You could also use this function if you had to, cancel out a day because of some sort of incident, and then automatically schedule those citizens. But kind of the sky's the limit in terms of what we allow you to do with the system. So kind of get into the bones of the program here, because I don't want to go too much, but the closure schedule over here, this is your holiday schedule. Not a ton of interesting, in here. This is, you kind of set what days you're not going to be open and kind of forget these for the rest of the year. But if you've got, city holidays or county holidays that you'd want to not have service for, this would be where you would set those. The schedule, this is a bit of a misleading name here. The schedule, this is where we determine whether an appointment is going to be pulled from a time block or a walk-in, first in, first out system. So when we go to create a new schedule here, we're going to set this as WCA, and we have the option of, like I said, we can schedule first in, first out, or by time blocks. We can create a date here, and we're going to go from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, if you want to copy this across the whole week, it's as easy as hitting the duplicate button and changing this to the next day. We also allow you to, if you wanted to have this also be Monday and you've got a lunch break built in, we give you that option as well. So we can go here, we've got 11:30 a.m. and then there's going to be a blank spot of a half an hour in that. When your citizens go to sign up, they won't be allowed to sign up between 11:30 and noon for appointments. Now, for the time block feature, this is where you're actually building your calendar that your appointments are going to go on to. The way this is configured, the system says we can handle 2 appointments in a 10-minute period. Now, this 10-minute period is kind of the least common denominator in terms of appointment times. So if you've got appointments that take 40 minutes or appointments that that take 10 minutes, what you can do is when you set this up to have 10-minute chunks, and then when you're actually creating services, you can tell that service, hey, you're going to eat up 4 blocks from the schedule because we know this is a 40-minute appointment. So what I'm going to do here is cancel this out, and I'm going to pull you into the actual locations. Now, like I said, these are locations, so buildings or departments. Our base license allows you to create as many departments and service types and users as you want. We don't have any restrictions on you on that. So what I'm going to do is open up this Plymouth location and just show you kind of some of the general settings that we've got on here. So we've got the building set up, and we can set how soon before an appointment we want the reminder to go out, how soon we want the confirmation message to go out. And this is configured in minutes. So 1440 minutes, that comes out to 24 hours. So that's going out the day beforehand. We offer a boatload of different languages because we also understand, English is not the only language spoken in the country. And so our web booking page can be translated into any number of languages that you want. And we can add these on if a language is not added. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, we added in Burmese and a handful of other of these because we just didn't have them on here before. Message configuration, this is all information that's pulled from the appointment when it's created. And then these can be placed in the texts or emails that go out to your citizens. And it pulls that metadata and just transfers it right into the system and the messaging. Now, we don't require that you send out texts and emails and phone calls on all of these. You get to determine what messages go out. If you don't want an appointment message or a confirmation message to go out, you turn off these 2 fields, and then it's just the rest of the messaging that is sent out. Screening questions, again, this is those questions that were asked before we created the appointment, and just as easy to click add here and create additional. We offer before, after, so like a survey, if you wanted to ask your citizenry, how was your service today? How did you like using the No Wait Decide program? You could pull that survey through here. And we also have check-in questions. Again, like I mentioned, we can take short answer, yes or no, and provide a custom error message. If they answer incorrectly, we can give a drop-down message or file upload. These questions do not have to be required. You can allow appointments to go through without answering these, but it's as easy as moving this slider to require this to be a question. Especially if you're going to ask COVID-related questions, you kind of want those to be required. Like I mentioned before, pools, this is our actual service types. So what we can do is we can go into this driver's road test, because we already kind of looked at this. And under driver's road test, we can see this is pulling from a time block schedule, and you get to select which time block schedule it's going to pull from, or if it's going to pull from a walk-in. And if you've got a handful of different departments that are using this program, you'd create different time blocks so that they're not scheduling on top of each other and making it confusing for when those services actually occur. Again, we've got window service on here. The service list, again, this is the drop down, and this is going to be where you determine how many of those 10, 15-minute increments that you want the system to create an appointment for. We can have specific screening questions per service type, because we know, there's going to be a handful of different questions that are asked when you're renewing your driver's license versus getting new tabs or applying for a passport, protesting property assessments. Again, the sky's the limit on this. Again, like I mentioned before, window service, this is where you can determine whether you've got windows, tables, booths, or custom. If you want to refer to them as kiosks or whatever you'd want to set them as, we can set those as alphabetical, numerical, or a list of names or nouns that you'd want your desks to be named for. Let's see here. So we can also generate an individualized pool booking URL. And this is going to be, if you wanted to just post links on your web page for specific services, it's not going to allow your citizen a drop-down option here. So if you wanted to have a hyperlink that says, this is just driver's road test, you could post that link, and then they won't have the option of getting confused on what service they're actually signing up for. So I'm going to close that out and go here. Signage, Mike touched on this briefly. There's not a ton actually in this page, but signage is our ability to post your walk-in schedule along with slides with other information that you'd want to provide your citizen on a flat panel television that you'd have posted in your office. And we can actually have that schedule with a side-by-side of saying, now serving John Smith at window 4. So we can also call people into office on that screen as well. Go ahead and close that out. Just going to talk briefly about users. It's not super complicated on here, but we allow 3 different user types. We've got administrators, managers, and users. Now, administrators are going to have the ability to edit all of the features in here, create new pools, create new locations without needing to contact us for that function. So we actually have a number of county clients that one of their departments was using us and they wanted to add on some additional departments, and they didn't even have to get a hold of us to do that. We allow them free reign to add on additional departments as they please. In terms of the appointment tab here, this is one of the areas where you can pull reports for your appointments for either department service, individual pool service, for a certain range of dates. And then again, that's all exportable to PDF and Excel. We know that some of your more experienced staff likes to also have a paper copy of their appointment list for the day. So this would be one of those areas where you could pull that appointment list, print it out, and have a paper copy. Now, that it's not going to get updated, as you have changes to your daily schedule. But this is where you can pull that. By appointment invites, this is something where, if you've got a link on your site for COVID vaccinations, but you don't actually have a set appointment or a day for that yet, kind of a wait list function. this is where you'd have the ability to send out invites to your constituents that have signed up for those on that wait list. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into the settings here because this is very similar to the locations, but this is the master setting for the organization. And these settings can actually be pulled into the locations and services when you're setting up the locations or departments. Again, you can, like Marion County, Iowa, they've got just a general web booking URL where they're offering all of their locations just through the one button. But we can do by location, or like I said, by service type URL for that too. I showed you time block function. This is all searchable by department and then individual service type. So we can take a look at what the driver's road test schedule looks like. Our stats report, and I'm just going to kind of blaze through this because it's kind of some information that you can we can dig into further if any of you want a individualized demonstration. We can pull reports again by location, pool service, and user. So, if you want to, if review time's coming up and you want to take a look at, what your service types look like for individual users, you can set a range of dates and take a look at how many messages they've sent out, how many customers they've serviced. It's kind of self-explanatory on everything that's being shown here. The summary report, this is going to be the area where you've got your location breakdown. So if you want to share the cost of the program between a couple of different departments within the county, this is where you'd pull that information for the text messages, calls, and emails that have gone out. And again, this is a range of dates that is exportable to PDF or Excel, so you can run that through your data analysis program at a later time and get a breakdown of which department's using the most messaging. Ad hoc reporting, this is where you can pull your messages and screening question answers, again, to give you data analysis in the future. This is also by location, pool, service. It's the same functionality as the other message, just a different set of data that you can pull to PDF or Excel. Yeah, and I think by and large, that's that's the bulk of the appointment. There's some more kind of nitty-gritty things that don't really make sense to get into at this point. But Mike, is there anything that you'd like to tie on here?
No, I think we should go to questions, Luke.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Now I will leave the dashboard and and my screen share up here. So if there are any particular questions, I can just hop right into those particular areas.
So Mike and Luke, I don't see any questions right now in the Q&A or the chat, but just from, this is a lot of information. I know, Luke, you're going through those screens and can easily navigate it. But what does the onboarding process look like?
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Good. Thank you, Michael. We wanted to be able to show everyone sort of the level of robustness of functionality. Onboarding, and hopefully that doesn't scare you, because literally we provide demos to counties on one day, and then we do implementation with a 2-hour training and implementation session the next day. So we're able to get you up and running literally within 24 hours after a demo. It depends on the level of complexity you want to implement. There's the system's designed so that you can add, there's no additional cost if, say, you're the treasurer's, you're the assessor or the recorder, and the treasurer or the health department wants to use it. We don't view that as an additional licensee. That's all part of the overall license cost. So it's there's just a message cost. So it can be easily implemented, and many of our county clients implemented this literally overnight. When we're there to support you through it, we do like a 2-hour training and implementation session with you, and then we're available for any questions and such. And we provide support post.
Okay, and yeah, and that leads into the question, and I know we've got two questions here in the Q&A, but as to support, you mentioned that, Mike, what is the ongoing support?
So we're a software as a service. So right today, the way support works is that if you want to do email support, that's free. That's included in the $49 a month. If you want to do phone support, that we do charge an additional $49 a month for. And some of our clients do use that because they have a lot of users, and it's helpful for them to talk to one of myself or a member of our team if they have additional questions.
Okay. And then a question here in the Q&A talks about Hipaa compliance. So is this product Hipaa
Yes,
compliant?
it's fully Hipaa compliant. We sit on Hipaa compliant servers at AWS, and it is being used by a number of county health departments. Literally thousands of COVID vaccinations are booked daily on our application.
Okay. And a question here is.
I
Go ahead, Luke.
was going to add on to that. So because of the data privacy laws in California, we also have the ability to anonymize appointments once they're finished. So that data, name, all the special data that you don't want shared, we can anonymize that after the fact. So that's another portion of that kind of HIPAA area.
Okay. And then a question here, are input validations allowed for the question forms, i.e. email addresses, phone numbers, mainly format validation like user@domain.com and a phone number?
Yes, those are all built in. And then specifically around screening questions, we have free form text, but we also have the ability to have them conform, have their responses conform.
Great. And another follow-up here, in the schedule view, are you able to restrict by department? For instance, if we have a queue for people in public health, we wouldn't want other departments to be able to see those schedules.
Yes, when Luke here and user will show you how you can control that.
So I've just pulled this up right here to give you an idea, because I didn't get into it on users. But so if we look at this A user, which is one of our test users, we can actually do a drop down when we're setting this person up and give them access to specific departments or locations through this page. So that's how you set the department or location restrictions. And then again, users wouldn't have access to change it for themselves, but managers and administrators would.
So Luke, if you can go back to the dashboard.
Yep.
It's, we highlighted COVID because we do a lot of that, but this would not, the only person that would see this view is someone who was an administrator for your county who's supporting all county departments. But these would be different. This view would not be something one of your staff would have access to, because health department staff would only have access to COVID-19.
Okay. And then there were two questions in the chat. Mike, I think you answered the one regarding statistics on how much the effect. Did you answer that one earlier today?
Yes, I did. That
Okay.
one I did answer.
And then the second one, does the app monitor no-shows or missed appointments?
Yes. So
if
you
you
go in,
generate a report?
Yes.
So if on the day, Luke Weinzettel hasn't showed up for his appointment, what we can do is through the multifunction here, I showed the edit, but we can cancel, close, or close this as no show. And then when you go to export data from the stats reporting summary or ad hoc, it's going to have this saved as the status of that appointment.
Great. Well, I want to be cognizant of everyone's time here. It's 10:54. I don't see any more questions. I did want to follow up, though. I think that there is great value here with this software outside of the current pandemic and COVID-19 that we have been dealing with. I think that the product allows for increased efficiencies. And then I think if we were all following along at the very beginning, there's no doubt that this is very cost effective. I think that No Wait Inside, Mike and his other partner have priced this to be very valuable to local units of government, especially counties. I think we will always be managing the number of citizens that are in and outside of our buildings, whether it's a pandemic, whether it could be flu season, regardless of maximum capacity inside of buildings. I think this is really future future thinking. And I want to thank both Mike and Luke for giving us an hour today. You can also find more information about this on our website, WCASI.com. You can feel free to reach out to myself at the Counties Association or directly to Mike and Luke as well. I know that Luke offered up, demos that can be done virtually very easily. I would encourage all attendees to take that next step, to have that one-on-one with Luke and kind of learn more and maybe ask some more specific questions. So again, I want to thank Mike and Luke. Also, thank you to our own staff, Anne Marie and Michelle, for putting together the webinar, and hope everyone has a great Tuesday.